what is the solution to the business facing these challenges? Well, in my opinion, the greatest solution to this is a concept that we call leadership through self-management. Leadership through self-management has two components to it. The first one is that we use leadership skills. I frequently get asked around, how do you use leadership skills? Well, I love quotes, so here goes one. Leadership is a choice. It is not a title, nor is it an entitlement. So therefore, at any level, we can choose to use leadership skills. I frequently see people who have been there for 1 year versus people who have been there for 5 years. The 1 year person moving ahead with their career and getting promotions well in front of the person who's been there for 5 years. Why? Because sometimes people who've been there for 5 years have actually got 1 year times 5 versus 5 progressive compounded years. So the concept of using leadership skills is an important part of this solution. The second part is self-management, where we would say that is the most important part. And that is, we must, with this dichotomy of a relationship where people haven't got time to spend time one-on-one and spending time to get the most out of people, we've got to train people on allowing them the right and the knowledge on how to get the most out of themselves and therefore how to use self-management. The concept of self-management, a lot of people don't understand what the definition is. So let's go a little bit deeper to understand what does that mean. Self-management from Wikipedia says, in business, education, and psychology, self-management refers to the methods, skills, and strategies by which individuals can effectively direct their own activity towards the achievement of objectives, and includes goal setting, decision-making, focusing, planning, scheduling, time management, task tracking, self-evaluation, self-intervention, and self-development. So that's what it says in Wikipedia. Let me give you my definition of self-management. Stop whinging, stop being negative, stop complaining. Stop blaming other people and finger pointing. Stop being defensive and stop denying the current situation. Take responsibility and accountability for your own choices, your own processes, and your own results. And you won't find that in Wikipedia. So that's my definition of self-management. And in fact, you want to change culture, just follow the self-management recipe. Talking about recipes, the generic people management recipe would have to be a model that we've developed called Como Squared. Como Squared stands for KOMO. And what that stands for is know oneself, then manage oneself. Know others, and manage others. That's a 4-step people management recipe. What I frequently see is organisations training people and assisting people on step number 4, which is managing others. Now, if it's a recipe, last time I checked, you never start a recipe at step 4. In fact, if we started a recipe of baking a cake at step 4, we would fundamentally have an empty tray in the oven. And you wonder why it doesn't work. Well, people management is exactly the same. We've got to start with step 1, which is knowing oneself and managing oneself. That is an inside management style, and the external part is knowing others and managing others. We must get step 1 and 2 correct first. In fact, the most important step is step 2. Why? Because a lot of the times we do know ourselves, we do know components, but we don't manage it. I mean, I frequently hear the concept of, yeah, I know that. One of my pet peeves is, yeah, I've been there, done that. But we do know a lot of the times stuff about ourselves. We can't just know information. We've got to manage it. And we've got to manage it better than what we did yesterday. So Como Squared is a model that I challenge you to use in your organisations to know oneself, then manage oneself. And once you nail that, it gives you confidence that that model works, and then you can cascade that to knowing others and managing others. That will definitely improve the self-management in your organisation, but more importantly, holistically, improving the culture without a blame culture and people taking ownership of all components. what tends to happen when you look at step 4 first is you forget step 1 and 2. And when you forget step 1 and 2, which is knowing oneself and managing oneself, you frequently come across as inconsistent and incongruent. And once you've come across as inconsistent and incongruent, you frequently lose credibility and then respect. And once you've lost credibility and respect, good luck with step 4, trying to get the most out of other people.